Or fantasy football. You got to catch people up here.
Yeah.
You just jumped right in.
We're all in a fantasy football league, and you guys are going to hear more about this because it is all we talked about later.
So at the draft every year in August, we decide on the punishment, and that nobody thinks they're going to lose. Everybody goes, yeah, that's fine. It's a naked calendar that you have to distribute to the league.
It was that year.
So we're like 10 games in, and the most worrisome of our group starts getting freaked out. And it's like, guys, like I could lose my job. By the way, we're talking about a police officer.
Thought about that ahead of time.
Some teachers, and then a salesperson goes, "Yeah, man, this could really mess things up."
Welcome to The Cover, where three Hoosier friends judge books by their covers and movies by their trailers.
That's right. I'm Brett, here with my fellow Indiana natives, Remington and Marcus, ready to dive into the stories that keep us up all night and occasionally put us to sleep.
Whether you're a bookworm, movie buff, or just here for the witty banner, we've got you covered.
Each week, we'll dissect a different book or movie, sharing fun facts, hot takes, and moments that make Marcus cry. Spoiler alert, we're not experts, but we're definitely opinionated.
From literary masterpieces to blockbuster flops, nothing is safe from our snarky reviews and wild tangents. Who knew Hoosiers could be this entertaining?
So grab your popcorn and reading glasses because we're about to embark on a hilarious journey through the pages and screens that shape our lives. Or at least our weekends.
You're listening to The Cover. Let's get the show on the road before one of our kids wakes up.
Vasectomy.
Oh.
It's one of those things that I always thought, yeah, I'll probably have to do that. But wrestling with it, and Kelsey's like, take your time, pray through it, but it's gonna have to happen.
Well, let's give some context here. We're all.
This is what she said.
Yeah.
Take your time, pray through it, but it's gonna happen.
Well, because for me, she said the reason you're struggling with it is because it's a permanent thing done to your body, and you've never done anything like that before. Mm-hmm. And I think she's right.
Interesting.
You guys both went through it. You guys got to.
Dude, I couldn't wait.
Here's the thing. You got to kid 6 before you did it. You got to kid 5.
Yep.
I'm only at 4, and I don't know.
Well, I got to kid 5, and Riley and I agreed that we would stop at 4. Mm-hmm. So it was like equally like, all right, this. Like, usually it's like, okay, we said that. Now we've had the baby for a while. Do you still feel that way? It was like, no, I just had twins with no, what's the anesthesia thing? What's with no
shot?
Not, what is it? What
epidural?
Is it? Epidural. With no epidural. I'm done. Go get it done. So it was, I think we were in a unique situation, but we're all in our mid-30s. We're all on kid 4, 5, or 6. It's a normal.
Yeah, it's certainly, we thought a lot about it after kid 4. Mm-hmm. And really prayed about if we wanted to, if we felt like God wanted us to continue the family on or not. That was really what it came down to. Was not what do I want, or but what's God calling us to?
Right.
And because we truthfully, like, we really thought we were done at 4, but the more Jessica prayed and thought about it, the more she felt like she wanted to have a baby, and then I was like, oh, man. I actually felt selfish for not wanting a baby. Yeah. And then talked to a few people and started to get to a point where I felt good about it. So we had 5. Then a couple years after that, had 6. Basically, as soon as she was pregnant with 6, we both were like, yeah, this is the last one. And we felt like a total peace.
Did you schedule it after the baby was born?
Yes. Yeah. We waited a year after the baby was born just to make sure. But, yeah, that was a little different than Brett. Brett was like, dude, twin girls, 5 girls, all 5 girls, 7 and under, right? Mm-hmm. 6 and under?
Yeah, 7 and under. 7 and under, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Under that age.
I'm just wrestling with it. I don't know. I'm not truly wrestling. Like,
I'll say this, that it wasn't really that big of a deal. It wasn't that bad.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So you really think it's the finality of it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah, and also the ages of our kids, we've got 7, 6, and 4, and then one boy at 0.
Yeah,
that's basically 5 years behind, living a different life than the first 3, and so it's like I don't know. Maybe
you know
have
what?
another-
Now that you're talking this through, this is definitely you guys know me. I tend to be a fire. What is it? Ready, fire,
ready,
aim.
shoot.
Yeah. So you're not gonna be surprised by this.
Is that why you have 5 kids? Ready, fire.
Yeah.
This is probably one of those things that you want to be 100% on before you.
Probably.
I mean, to be completely.
Well, especially because you guys went to a guy that is irreversible. Not that.
Yeah.
Like, even if they do
Oh,
reverse
dude.
it, I've heard just horror stories.
In fact,
Yeah, I don't
you're
think
better
so.
off getting the irreversible because then it's not even. And dude, shout out nostoric.com. I mean,
It was
just
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
So great.
The screen you get to look at while you're laying
man,
down.
that video.
Mesmerizing.
I feel like
of what's
Mesmerizing.
going on in your body.
no, it's a video that is like music to like a 1990s futuristic Fantasia.
It's kind of.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it.
But it's like if you were in college and you got like super high and you were like, let's watch something. This is what you would watch.
So
you
that's-
kind of want to go.
So
You
that's
kinda wanna
going
go.
on. That's going on, and you're looking straight up at that, and then he's just talking to
Talking
you
you
about
through
all
it.
kinds of stuff.
It's so great. I had a guy that was shadowing him to find out if he wanted to do this for a living.
Right.
He
I
just-
remember.
He just shows up and he's like, "Hey, so and so's. Do you mind?" I'm like, "It's fine. I get
Are you
shy in
sure?
front of audiences sometimes."
Are you sure? Are you sure you didn't have an extra one just to make sure they could find it?
No, I'm gonna have to put
maybe
explicit on the show.
it's possible.
We might have to with maybe not a Knight's Tale.
What's that? Yeah. Well, no, neither. Actually, Alda had some moments.
This, yeah.
Growing up,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, closer to my childhood than your guys's. It's
Yeah, I would say that's probably true.
It's not even like I'm joking about explicit. There's some things that we talk about on the show that, like, we're talking about dad stuff. I'm not sure that's
Yeah.
appropriate for the kids.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
sure.
but it's not explicit.
we could add into the beginning of this episode, just like at the beginning
I
of
would
church
say
service.
most episodes that people should listen to it before they would listen to it with their kids.
Right.
Sure, but
'Cause
like
we're
just
talking about raising kids.
just like at church though, if there's a subject that might not be appropriate for those under 13, they say, "Hey, by the way, make sure you take advantage of the children's ministry."
Sure.
I'd say, "Hey, make sure you take advantage of headphones."
Earpods.
Yeah, AirPods.
Yeah.
Figure it out. But
Earmuffs.
just keep listening. I'm ready to jam.
Let's do
You
it.
guys ready to jam? So, Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale.
Woo! Covering the Knight's Tale. We got a back page summary here. Remington, could you give us your 30-second reading
judge by the
rendition?
cover.
I was testing out to see if sunflower seeds during the show is possible. It is not.
Is it official, by the way? This is your 30-second synopsis from now on.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So here we
This is
go.
what I would like to do because mine was boring and
Dude, look at
you know,
Oh my gosh. I have to
listeners.
have
Do you hear
9
this
words.
self-awareness?
I have to have
This
9
is great.
words. Crap.
9 words. You have a whole page of notes over there. 9 words wasn't one of the notes.
Nope, not one of them.
I love it. And then, and I'm gonna try to get through Brett's slam poetry without laughing.
So this is. I've gotten many texts about the slam poetry. This makes it start. So this is straight from the back of the.
my favorite.
Oh,
is
we
Parasite.
got to mention. We
my
got to
favorite
mention.
is Parasite though.
This is the first episode where it's listener requested.
Oh
Yeah, Knight's
Listener
Tale?
requested. Nate F from Minneapolis, Minnesota wrote into us, and
He
he
did.
said, I'd love to hear you guys do a Knight's Tale. So shout out to Nate F.
Nate F.
F.
Beautiful. He might live in Fishers and be one of our best friends now. But yes, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Big Vikings fan, so we wanted to throw him a bone. Here we go.
So, by the way, I didn't get to finish what I said about Parasite though. Parasite's got to be the funniest slam poetry because he goes, "Ah, life is good. Life is not good." That's so good. Oh, I about ran off the road when I heard that.
This is straight from the back of the DVD. By the way, Marcus has a DVD.
Yeah, so
That's
do
right,
I.
I do.
Actually. So do I. I don't know where it is, but
Oh,
Well,
you-
I had to
kudos-
search for this.
Okay,
kudos to you.
I actually rented it because it took me so long to find the DVD that I just was like, yeah, I'm just gonna rent this. It was like $1 on
So
Prime or something.
you rented it on Prime, found the physical DVD copy,
Later.
then had to find your DVD player,
It
plug it
wasn't-
in, find out if you had AV cables.
It
no,
didn't
I have
cost-
my
did it
DVD
cost
player
you?
plugged in.
It's running now. Like
no, you have AMC or something probably.
At the time, I do.
I paid
Okay.
for the free AMC for 7 days. I didn't pay for it, but I signed up and then.
So at the
canceled.
time of this filming, it is free on AMC if you want to go watch it. The 14th century takes a rocking new twist in A Knight's Tale, a stylish, exciting, action-packed adventure starring Heath Ledger, R.I.P., from acclaimed director Brian Helgeland,
Wow.
also in Payback.
By the way,
I'm sorry. This is my...
Sorry.
All right. With heroic performances from Mark Addy, the full Monty, Down to Earth, Rufus Sewell, Dangerous Beauty and Dark City, and Alan Tudyk, and introducing sensational newcomer Shannon Sossamon. Heath Ledger is William Thatcher, a peasant squire who breaks all the rules when he passes himself off as a nobleman and takes the jousting world by storm. The only thing that stands between William and his dream of becoming the world champion of the extremist of sports is the bad boy of the sport, Count Adamar. And when the two rivals go lance to head at the world... Oh, lance to head, that's actually what it says. And when the two rivals go lance to head at the world finals to determine who will be named the ultimate champion, you better arm yourself and hang on tight for the thrill of your life.
So the reason I couldn't stop laughing is because it was kind of a swing and a miss calling this guy an acclaimed director because I have never heard of him since. So
Payback is his other big movie, at least at the time of this DVD release. But we can look that up.
2002 or something.
Yeah, maybe he's done more since then that we would
he's
know.
rocking on royalties from A Knight's Tale. It kind of probably it probably had a resurgence when Keith Ledger died. You know.
What's funny about royalties is think about how many people stream movies now that get you more royalties, but what if, we would have watched this DVD instead of streaming it? And how many times, you know what I mean? You buy it one time, you don't get any royalties.
But you also probably
Is that
got
how it
paid
works?
way more from the DVD sales.
I don't know if it works
Maybe.
every time.
Maybe. But no, when you buy it
For
on
sure
Prime,
you
it's-
get royalties as from streaming.
This was a big thing with Scarlett Johansson and Disney when they put out Black Widow. There was a big argument because it was going straight to Disney Plus because of COVID, and that was not worked into the deal. She was going to get paid off.
She
of,
got cut out.
I mean, she took him to court. I don't know how it ended up, but they didn't make any more Black Widows, so I'm assuming it didn't really work out in her favor.
By the way, instead of renting it so I can read the back next time, I can just look it up online.
Well, I brought it, so.
But I appreciate you bringing
No. He rented it on Prime
to watch. Yeah.
Yes, for $1.
But then I found the DVD.
Which is better because if you go on IMDb, this is all it says. After his master dies, a peasant squire fueled by desire for food and glory creates a new identity for himself as a knight.
I mean, that's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
If you were set to a certain amount of words, which I don't know why anybody would ever do that to themselves.
When you look up IMDb, by the way, like ratings, most movies, even the ones we like, are like 5 or 6. And anything above that, out of 10, and anything above that is pretty impressive for IMDb. This is a 7 out of 10, which is cool because I don't think A Knight's Tale gets spoken in a lot of.
I wouldn't know about it if it
festivals.
wasn't for you guys.
Yeah,
It is
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
But to get a 7 out of 10 on IMDb
What's its
is
Rotten
pretty-
Tomatoes? Is it on there?
I will look that up while you're doing your slam poetry.
So first, I want to know what you guys knew going into it before you watched it for the
we forgot
first
to ask.
time.
Yeah.
For me, as many of the good movies that I've been introduced to over the years, I just knew it was a Ramsey family classic. That and the other movie that comes to mind is Die Hard. Your dad had only seen, Remington's dad, my father-in-law, had only seen Die Hard on like USA, and that's the edited version. So we buy Die Hard on Prime and are watching it, and I mean, there's some F-bombs. There's some, and your dad's face is just like, I didn't know. I didn't know.
It's because of Mom.
Yeah.
Mom, I've told this before, but the first curse word in a movie, Mom just looks over at Dad. That's the first one.
As in, how dare you didn't look this up ahead of time?
No. So just wait. So she just looks over at him, and as a kid, you're watching this and you're starting to get nervous. Second curse word that pops up, she goes, Brian. So she looks over at him and says his name. Third, she just gets up and walks out in disgust and says, I can't believe you would watch this filth. That was my upbringing.
So Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard was not a good Christmas movie for Mom.
Marcus, before you watched Knight's Tale for the first time, what did you know?
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah,
How old were
it's
you?
been
This
so
was way back in
long.
the day?
I mean, when did it come out?
2001.
01. So we were 13.
Yeah, I mean, I probably just watched it because either.
Fun
My
fact.
dad probably thought it looked good, and
Got it.
Fun fact: the timing.
I doubt
of this,
I knew anything about
the
it.
timing of this movie came out right after Patriot. So we said in the Patriot when we covered the Patriot that he was on his way out of acting, and the script for Patriot brought him back in. He got discovered for A Knight's Tale because of the Patriot screening.
So Patriot came out in what, 99 probably?
Why
they
would
would
you
have
do this
filmed
to
it
me?
in 99 of it.
Yeah.
So wow, Patriot came out right before
2000. Came out in
Patriot
2000.
came out right before 9/11.
Right.
Which, man, that's nuts. Heath Ledger riding a wave of the Patriot into.
He got a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes.
See,
1% away from.
That's critic score. That's and there's two different scores.
I don't know, just on the tomato meter, and then audience score was 79%.
Yeah, I would think that.
Which is movies.com. Which again, like for me, you know, growing up when I got snobby, I really cared about the Rotten Tomatoes. And then the older I get, when I'm just trying to enjoy a movie, I do care about the audience score because I just want to enjoy this movie. Like they work hard
audience
on it.
Score.
You
Yeah.
know, except for Pearl Harbor, that was a terrible movie. Pearl Harbor was just garbage.
Cuba.
You said that so many times.
It's so bad. It's gonna be like
Ben
the
Affleck.
scale for the cover is gonna start with
You
Pearl
white-
Harbor and go to like Remember the Titans. Yeah.
Lots in
Interesting.
between. Rem, what'd you know before? Do you have any recollection?
No idea.
Do you know why you watched it? Where you watched it in theaters?
No, just family favorite. We loved it. I remember thinking, and what's funny is like when I was watching it for the cover, the opening scene is so corny with the Queen song. You think it's gonna be a slapstick movie, but it's not. It doesn't turn out to be that. It's just like in movies you've seen in the past where like they take a medieval time period and make them do something not medieval. You're like, okay, this is Monty Python 2.0, but it's not.
That's something that I had in my notes from it was just that it's so awesome how they took a movie and were able to make it funny but still have an amazing plot and serious. Like it was a really beautiful job of like that constant back and forth of that type of movie. Before we get into 30-second synopsis of Marcus and I want to remind you, I'm one of your hosts, Brett Wiggins.
Hey, Brett.
To my left, my good friend,
Marcus Mangus.
father of 6, and Remington. To my right, father of
4.
4. Little Remy, due any moment.
Do it. And it
I mean,
could be tonight.
in all seriousness, yeah, we could be ending. Well, we could be finishing on our own.
No, you guys can finish.
Yeah.
She's trying to walk it out right now.
She is.
Oh yeah, she's doing some
Yeah,
laps.
she's doing that walk unevenly on the sidewalk kind of thing to get him into position. Although she was told that his head is ready to go.
ready to
in the
jam.
birth canal,
Good job, Remy.
Yeah.
Right on schedule. I like. When's the official due date?
25th.
Oh, okay. So we're in the safe zone. I like it. All right, fantastic. Marcus, you need time?
Well, you go first before me. So.
Okay.
right.
All right. Well, all right. So I'm gonna put Knight's Tale. Okay. And go. All right. Boy sees his dad struggle. Sees a knight that looks cool. Leaves. Daddy. Goes somewhere, not England. Goes through. Just, I don't know, learns how to be a knight somehow, and then he's on his own, and he wants to joust. He gets knocked never off, just keeps knocking him over and over. He's really good at the sword. He doesn't want to do the sword. He wants to continue jousting. Finds the girl. She's pretty hot. Sorry, Riley. She's special. She's quirky. He almost ruins everything because she's a girl. And I'm already out of time. Dang it, dude. There's so much good stuff.
Ends with a passionate kiss.
It does. Marcus, 9 words. We never want to say 9. It's got to be 9 words or 9 words or less.
Yeah, I don't think this is my best, but I got something.
Okay, so ready, set, and go.
Peasant squire fakes knighthood and becomes a knight anyway.
Ooh, and it was 9.
Giving away
Exactly.
the ending. Good
Crushed
stuff.
it. Did you know how you were going to end that before you ended it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was like,
It felt like
I
you
was
were
working it out
surprised.
while you guys were.
It felt like you were surprised. By
Well,
how
I was, I was judging you in real
How about
time to
that?
see how you felt about the 9 words.
I thought it was great.
I was trying to sneak something in there about the girl, but I couldn't.
What are we
couldn't get it in
drinking
there.
tonight?
Oh, yeah. So
You
this
brought
was a little tough.
A 6-pack, by the way.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to drink all of them.
Are they cold already?
Missed opportunity
okay.
over here. Oh my gosh, it's actually on. So have you seen The Shining? So tell them what you're drinking first.
Red Drum Irish Red by Beer Brewery.
It's not Red Drum. It's Red Drum. It's Red Rum, because it's from The Shining. And you can see
Red rum,
You
then.
can see the
Okay.
door on the beer with the axe coming through, where he says, "Here's Johnny." Has you guys seen The Shining?
I've seen that the part of
Oh
it.
my
I've seen,
gosh.
I think
That's
I
great.
think I've seen it.
That's got to be on the list.
yeah.
This is probably something where when I was 7.
hold on, red
I was,
rum?
I was
Red
see-
rum. So it's murder spelled backwards.
Oh.
Yeah. And the little kids go, "Red rum, red rum."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think this is like It. I was exposed to The Shining and It before the age of 10. So then I just never finished them, and I probably like
I love
went
how
to
you
bed.
said that too. Like, that's messed up. You're like, I was exposed to The
So
Shining.
then I was like, I probably never went back and watched because I was so scared. The little twins, right? There's
Yeah.
little, yeah. So
Yeah,
that
the little
ruined-
girls. Like, I'll tell you, sometimes my kids just stand that way in the middle of the hall.
So anyway, it's red rum apparently, which is murder spelled backwards, which is
Redrum.
apparently from The Shining.
Yeah.
But the reason that I got it was because it was an Irish red. I was looking for something. This was very last minute tonight, but I was looking for something that was like English or British or something, but they didn't really have that. So I saw Irish red.
They take all the British
My
beers
favorite
off 4th of July
character,
week.
my
gone.
favorite character is Watt.
Oh,
And he's got
dude.
the
he's
red
fiery.
hair. So this is an ode to Watt,
He's fiery.
who would probably love to red rum
So
somebody.
I couldn't stop picturing him in other movies, but I could not name any movies
So
I've
he-
seen
well,
him in.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball is the biggest one,
Dodgeball,
where he's
pirate.
a pirate. He's a
Ugh.
pirate.
He voices.
He's known for his
a
voice
ton
acting.
of characters.
Monsters,
Like,
Inc., I think he
basically-
voices
well,
something.
Maybe, but basically
Hundreds.
every
Like, that's
every Disney movie you've
Yeah.
seen, he does one or two of the voices.
It's Alan Tudyk. Is that the
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk? I just could not stop
Tudyk?
picturing.
I can't
Maybe
believe
Tudyk.
Paul Bettany is not on the back cover of this movie.
I think this is early Paul Bettany.
Is Paul
But
Bettany
he's
Roland? Is
the-
that
he's-
Roland?
He's
or
my
is that,
favorite
No,
character. He's
no,
Geoffrey Chaucer.
Chaucer.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the best
He
character.
is so
That's
good.
also,
He
by the way,
steals the show.
Riley's favorite
He's so
character
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh, he's
Yeah.
great from start to finish. It's so
Garden
shocking.
of his turbulence.
I did not get to do my intro.
He's so good. He's walking. So fun fact for you. He is on his first day of filming.
He did the naked
He did the
scene.
naked scene in front of 100 extras. That's a fact. Like on day one, and it is early Paul Bettany, but not that early. Like that dude. I think
It's
he
the
rose
first
to
thing
fame
I
in this.
remember him from.
Yeah, he's unforgettable. I'll tell you that much. I mean, he is good.
It
in
is
this
quite the
movie.
entrance.
So for those though, the like movies like
To trudge.
Hollywood, that's covered. There's like a skin colored thing.
Don't know.
I feel like as long as my junk is covered, I would have no issue doing that in front of anyone.
I feel like if
Well,
he was,
you've
I
done
feel
that
like if he
before.
was really into the character, he would have just
You-
gone.
Wait, I don't know where Rem's going with
You've
this.
done that before for the naked calendar.
Oh yes. So last place, the Sacco punishment one year was naked calendar. By the way, we're gonna name him. Jim was gonna back out. Chris used
Francis
his
was gonna
profession.
back out.
Francis got scared.
What are you talking about?
So loser. We all agree at the draft every year what
For
the punishment
fantasy
is gonna
football,
be.
you got to catch people up here.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
just jumped right
fantasy
in.
We're all in
football
the fantasy football league, and you guys are going to hear more about this because it is all we talked about later.
So at the draft every year in August, we decide on the punishment, and that nobody thinks they're going to lose. Everybody goes, yeah, that's fine. It's a naked calendar that you have to distribute to the
it
league.
was that year.
It was that year. So we're like 10 games in, and the most worrisome of our group starts getting freaked out. And it's like, guys, like I
'Cause
could lose
they're
my,
thinking they're
I
gonna-
could lose my job. By the way, we're talking about a police
Should have
officer.
thought about that ahead of time.
Some teachers, and then a salesperson goes, "Yeah, man, this could really mess things up." Are you serious? So then, I'm actually
So
glad.
then I did a video.
What? Yeah, what was your video? Oh! You did do a video. I forgot.
That week that everybody was complaining, I did a video with
So highest score of the week gets to make a video bashing the rest of the league.
because that was the year that I won.
If you've watched The League,
Yeah.
very league-esque,
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix.
That was the best move we ever made. Was at the end of every week, because for the longest time it was just trash talk, and
Yeah.
then someone gets a trophy at the end. And we've added things every single year. The best thing we ever did was say whoever wins the week gets to
Gets
leave
the
the
video.
recap video.
Yeah.
In which they can just unload all of their anger
So
Anyway, I
Marcus-
did a video with a poster board covering, and that was it.
Yeah.
And my wife filmed it, and it was really fun.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. So I lost, and yes, I did a I did
Recreated the
Oh,
naked,
you're-
the naked, the
it was
basically
really
ESPN
funny.
naked issue.
You just gave us a slideshow.
I
though.
did give them a slideshow, which I think
It's really funny.
out of being freaked out, I think I did delete it because
Yeah.
I've looked for it multiple times
Yeah.
and can't find it. So
We could probably find my video.
So good.
oh yeah, Facebook group.
Anyway, Geoffrey Chaucer being naked steals the show, even without those scenes, which are so hilariously directed. Like the shots, it's so perfect timing. He's standing there, and all of a sudden they pan out, and you're like, you just can't help but laugh.
You think
Dude,
that's
this
a role?
this cast really had it going.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
You know,
for sure.
I mean,
they
the
hung
whole
out
movie,
afterwards. And
They were tight, and you could just see the chemistry with the whole cast.
right.
But Bettany and Tudyk, they're incredible.
I'm
Those are my
guessing
two favorites.
There's
for sure.
that Chaucer is a role that you read and you're like, yes, like I.
So-
By
want
the way,
this
I
one.
also saw, you probably were reading the same stuff, but I also saw that Chaucer has like a year of his life that
Yeah.
no
Historians.
historian knows anything about. And
He
this
just went
is like
missing. And this is supposed to be
supposed
set.
to be like that year.
Oh, that's.
I mean, this is
funny.
clearly not historical in like any way. shape,
Yeah,
or form,
because we
but-
all knew Chaucer as a historical figure. We all knew that before 10 seconds ago.
He's the
Geoffrey
lily amongst
Chaucer?
the thorns.
Yeah.
You've
Lily
never
of the
read his
Thorns.
work, the Book of the Duchess?
Dude, I
Probably-
was in
probably read my
AP
book.
English and I read the Odyssey. I
Oh,
read.
This isn't about Homer.
I read many great literally. Shout out Wabash grad. I think he was a GDI.
By the way,
Adam
this is
Homo.
exactly why we can't cover any of the classics on this podcast, because people who actually know what they're talking about.
No, it'd be
No,
funny. We'd
that's-
make it accessible.
Yeah, I'm the average Joe. That's my
Talking about it?
Yeah, man.
that's probably
I
true.
think it speaks
That's
to
why
the
you
people.
can watch rewatchables and the cover. And
That's
still,
right. By
still
the way,
have fun.
I've never listened to a full episode of our podcast or the rewatchables, but I've heard the rewatchables is amazing.
It's pretty
So-
good.
Okay, great.
They just actually know a lot more about like the actors and the people, and
They
they're way
actually
cool, you
Rubbed
know.
shoulders with those
Mhm.
people. They were like,
They
yeah,
probably
we're-
go to con.
I was having
yeah, they probably go to con.
coffee with Leo.
We'll get there.
What made you think during the night's plenty of funny moments, obviously great characters, great people within. What made you think throughout? I think most good movies have a dreamer and a crazy dude, and this one nails it right out of the park, right out of the boat, right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. What do you mean? Every movie has a dreamer
Like a
and
dreamer
and a crazy dude.
And then you got like a crazy guy. A lot of good movies
And a
have
guide,
both of these
Like a-
and a
things.
guide. There's got to be
A guide. Okay, so you would call Roland the guide, probably.
Probably Chaucer in some ways.
You think? Well, I think
crazy
he's more-
guys.
Well, who would be
Tudyk.
the
Crazy
guide?
guy is
Redhead.
Watt.
What?
Yeah.
What? I will fawn you.
And then William is your dreamer, and I think that's a really good recipe. And it just hit me for the first time,
Yeah.
like, so I'll
Roland is a guide. Roland is definitely the guide, and he's there's such an awesome moment in the first scene when they fight him for the money, and
Yes.
then and they're all brotherly at
and
this
he just
point.
starts laughing.
And he just
at
starts
the end.
laughing, and he says, "God love you, William." Like that's a big part of the movie where he's like, you know what?
I definitely felt like
I'm
I would be
putting-
Roland.
yes,
I'm
I agree with
putting-
that.
Yeah.
I'm putting you. I'm putting you in this ahead of.
I'm betting on you.
Yeah,
I
I'm
believe
betting
in
on
what
you.
you're doing. Roland also during one of the flashbacks, you could see he was already one of the apprentices.
Yeah, he was older.
when
Yeah.
William gets
He
given
was
to
always
the.
his, yeah.
So yeah, he's a big brother. We'll call him
Mentor,
a big,
big
brother.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know every movie, but I bet if I go back through and look at some of my favorites, I think it's got the Dreamer, the Guide. I love that addition, and then the Crazy Dude.
I didn't make that up, but you know.
Oh, okay.
But Roland, me being Roland, I was thinking about like these characters and just how well they all work together just as a cast, and I was thinking about who would be the people, and I was like, oh man, like the red hair, they're always making fun of what.
Get lit up tonight.
I was like,
Lit up.
oh, Chris,
We love Chris.
love you, man.
But
Do
we
you
need
do this?
you need
do
a
you,
Chris.
do you do this with all your movies? Like when you find a movie you really like, you actually try to apply.
No, I was just doing it because I
Just
was like
this
trying
one?
to think of things to talk about, and I was like, oh yeah, that would be good. I couldn't figure out who would be William. I couldn't really figure that out. But.
He's definitely the character I resonate with most because he's changing his stars. Like he's
Yes.
like
Gorgeous.
There's
That makes
flowing
sense.
hair.
Yeah.
Is dynamic, played the Joker and plays the Knight. No, I think that for a movie to be this good, it can't just be funny.
Yeah.
It can't just be entertaining. It has to have a pull at your heartstrings story as well, with a bad guy you just want to punch in the face, and it has all those.
Yeah.
And
He plays a great bad guy too.
He is. We've
We've had
there.
some pretty good bad guys so far.
For sure. Those guys
If
are
Brett
epic.
knew like half the words that Chaucer was saying, then he could be Chaucer.
You could totally
but-
be Chaucer.
Like,
I love
because
it.
he could be, he's the MC, right?
Oh
he's like
yeah,
the,
he's
the
he
entertainer.
sounds like Chaucer.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Chaucer-
I'm good.
Okay, so you
Chaucer
said
and
what?
Charlie Day.
You said what made
Charlie
you think.
Day, yeah.
You said what made you think. Now there were multiple times when I was watching this week that I just wrote down questions. Okay, so I'm gonna hit us with a few questions.
Oh, I'm ready.
That made me really think. Okay, so very beginning starts off, and the first question I wrote down is, "What did they do with the body?" Right. So
Yeah.
this guy dies.
Yeah.
They pretend to be him.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't just like have a funeral or something,
Yeah.
can you? Like, what did they do with the body?
So they do this on the rewatchables. They talk about like things that are a little far fetched in movies, and we haven't done that yet. But I think I've always called that. So that again, the period of time where I was like super snooty watching movies, like it really ticked me off when it wasn't cohesive. But
Right.
now I'm just like I call that movie magic. Like that's what you just put it. You put it under
I
movie
love
magic.
it.
You know.
Well,
because
I've
you-
never really thought that question before, but I was watching and I was like, what
there's
did
some
they do with the body?
there's some unrealistic things in the movie for sure.
so,
So-
that's the first question was, what did they do with the body?
Embarrassing part of
That
what
really
you
made
just
me
said.
think.
Riley and I watched this outside on the projector on the back patio, and I was kind of like back and forth in and out at the very beginning, and I was kind of in and out of that part. And
Had you seen it? I can't remember.
Yes,
It's just
but
on and off, but-
Yeah, and
yeah.
to my point in early episodes, I forget everything.
Oh, yeah.
I forget everything. I forget characters' names. I don't know actors. Nothing. So, and I know they're like poking him right at the beginning, like they're
Yeah.
taking off.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was acting like that guy. I just thought they made up a name and they were like, "All right, you're a knight now. You can go do this."
Oh.
No.
Well,
no.
they do for the next tournament. They only
For
act
Yeah,
that
like
one.
They
Yeah,
only,
but in the first
they
one, he
only
has to
steal his
compete.
name for the very first one because they needed food.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get so much deeper on movies from
Food
this. This
is
is gonna
the
be great.
food is the currency.
Yeah.
Got
Is what William
Okay.
says.
So that was your first question, Mark. It's a pretty good one to kick us
But
off.
think about
That
it.
really
He
had me
wins the
thinking.
tournament. So if that knight would have won the tournament, he would have won the gold feather.
Yeah.
That they end up getting 15 whatever currencies
Florins.
for. Florins.
Yep.
And so if the knight would have won it, he would have kept the gold and
Yep.
just kept paying them the minimum wage. But they win
or
it
Not
and
even
then
really paid them, but just like
just
kept them
feed
alive.
Feed them,
basically.
yeah, and
do we know how he died?
It says that he.
he shite himself.
Yeah. So it could have been any number of things in that day and age, but
Yeah.
that was part of it.
I think he got killed from from the jousting. Like his
Yeah.
body couldn't take it anymore,
Got
and
it.
Could've
he
been.
got killed.
But to your
but
point,
he was up
but
two
think about this,
lances
so-
to none.
He was up 2 lances to none, but his body just gave out. Like if he, and by the way, that might
Dude,
not
a
have been what
tournament,
killed him.
a
But
jousting.
Yeah, by the way-
jousting in that tournament and going over and over and over again, that'd
Yeah.
be tough on the body.
movie magic. His parents never reached out. Nobody looked for him. Perfect.
well, in medieval times, people went missing all the time.
Yeah,
like
I'm
if
sure
you're
they
off on
just
a
died.
if you're off on a journey,
That's true. Yeah, you're not phoning home. I understand. Next question, Marcus. You got a couple?
Oh no, we can hit another one later.
Here's
that was
my
the first
question:
one.
why does William choose to save Chaucer before he sees his value?
I did write down that.
Why?
I thought I actually felt like I really resonated.
So,
with that.
so Chaucer is
he
like
already had his value.
no.
first off.
Well, they didn't know. Well, I guess if
He painted the
he's
I
the one
guess
that got-
had I known who
No.
Chaucer was, maybe I wouldn't be asking this question. But
They didn't know who Chaucer was.
Chaucer basically puts them in a horrible situation where he loses a bet, he can't pay it, and he's like, "Yeah, these guys will pay it," and they can either leave him or agree to pay him back. And William's like, "We're gonna save Chaucer and we're gonna pay him back."
Okay, but logically, who is William? He's a kind-hearted, help everybody kind of guy. First off, that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, is
He takes pity on
did
him.
get them in the tournament before. He's the reason they were actually able to get in the
They
tournament.
wouldn't be able to
So
do it
he
without
has
him.
shown him value first, and then the third thing is, I think he literally just. It's possible, like if you don't do that, Chaucer can bury you. Like now you're done because
that's true.
Someone who knows your secret.
Got it.
Like you got to keep all those
so,
people.
a little blackmail going on without
Which
being
is why it
said.
was cool they brought the girl in.
Well, then he owes him one for
they,
sure.
They brought the
no doubt about
blacksmith
it.
girl in on it. It's cool to see the camaraderie because in the final scenes they're all calling him William and like it's very sweet.
Yeah,
like,
dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was one of mine that I thought of is just why. So that makes sense.
I had that written down as like a moment that really resonated with me, though, is that he saves him even though he doesn't know him really
he doesn't
well.
have to.
He didn't have to, right? And he does. And I think that gets at the heart of like who William like is.
And when he says, "Please, Will," and then pauses and says, "Please, will you help me, Sir Oric?" If he's calling him Will already, the journey, the couple days journey that it took it took a week. They've gotten to know each other. Like they're a little closer than just picking up this naked guy on the side of the street.
It's not like they were checking their phones on Facebook the whole time.
Right.
Now, the moment it clicked for me why he chose him though is when he intros William in front of Jocelyn and Adamar for the first time, and I'm like, oh, I get it now.
He gives
this
him,
guy.
He gives him the line.
What's he say?
Your name, woman, I need your name. And she says, Sir Hunter, you persist, right? And then he says, or perhaps angels have no names, only beautiful faces.
Yeah.
Dude,
Got him.
it's like, okay, I understand your value now.
Especially because right after that, he couldn't say any more words.
After
didn't have a plan.
After he takes the first hit in front of Jocelyn, he goes, "Did she see it? Did she see what? Did she see the hit?
Her eyes welled up.
It was
awful.
dreadful. Her eyes welled up. That's so good. He's like
matchmaker.
Every time Paul Bettany steps on the stage in the frame,
he steals the scene.
He steals the scene.
Yeah, he
every
totally
time.
does. Yeah.
It's so good.
Rem, anything made you think? Anything come to mind?
Just the whole premise of the movie, which is you can change your stars. Now, I mean, this is part of the American in me, but like I've seen.
Well, you're
that.
a dreamer too, though. Like
I am.
you just you see something, you go for it. Like you
100%
figure it
true.
out. You see something and you say,
Dude,
why not me?
This
Right.
podcast.
That's you.
This podcast does not even start yet if Rem doesn't just will it and be like, no, we're meeting here. We're literally just thinking about stuff. He's like, let's just remember the Titans. Let's do it right now. Ready? Go. Which, by the way, pisses me off more often than it doesn't. But I'm so glad that you do it.
Yeah.
Like it's so
It challenges
necessary.
all of us,
It
for
really,
sure.
really does.
Well, I think he wants it for everyone too. Like he's the right guy you want to root for in the movie. It's like, are you the kind of person that if your life was on the movie screen and you were the one people were cheering for to be knighted, would people actually cheer for you, or would they root against you?
Yeah.
And so like that are you worthy of being the main character of this movie? I think about that a lot.
He'd rather lose the right way than win the wrong way. He showed mercy countless times to King Edward before he knew it was, well, he kind of finds out it was King Edward, but then he shows him mercy and lets him have a draw. He wants to joust because it's about...
No, you're mixing two characters, by the way, there, because I do that too, because they look the same. So that they don't draw. Like, he just withdraws once he's... But the first guy he shows mercy to...
Got it. Is not King Edward.
Right.
But he still shows him mercy.
It's King Edward.
So this is
Or
what's...
Prince Edward.
Prince Edward, yeah.
The first guy.
He's got the mask
It's
that goes
Colville,
to the side.
Thomas Colville.
It is Thomas Colville.
Yep.
So the first
I
time
do this all the
meet
time. I think it's somebody. I don't think it's somebody. And then it is somebody.
for the first time I noticed it, I've always thought, man, those guys look really similar.
No, that's the same
So
person.
he fights
Colville.
him the first time. He's like, I'm through, and I withdraw.
I've never-
So this comes back at the end, right? When he's in the stocks,
Yes.
and he's in
And
the
he says
stocks,
those two things.
and he comes up to him and he says, and I loved this part, right? He comes up to him and he says, "Your men love you. If I knew nothing more than that, it would be enough."
Right.
Right? And then he says, "But you also tilt when you should withdraw."
Right.
Right? So he.
So it is the same person.
It
That's
is.
so funny because
Yeah, it's
But to your point,
it's that
that's
friendship
so
builds.
confusing. Why
he
they
looks a little puffier in the first scene.
well in the first scene
Well, he's hurt.
In,
He
in
went
the
out
first
drinking.
Scene, he
then-
gets
he's
hurt.
Oh, maybe that was on purpose.
He is hurt, so he withdraws, and
He
you're
says,
thinking, okay,
"I can't finish." Right?
you can't finish,
But
and,
that's
and you're
when-
thinking that's when you should have noticed is Prince Edward. And then so he comes back later, and everyone's freaking out. It's Edward, my lord. It's Edward, my lord. Well, you would have thought they would have figured that out before in the first tournament. Like,
Well, he does.
By the way, just so we go, Paul Bettany first film that he really came to the mainstream in was a British film, Gangster, in 2000, and then this film.
This
So,
is his
This
first.
was like his second
Way
big
to
film.
go for it.
I mean,
man.
he was
Holy cow.
probably in a bunch of other stuff before that, but like those were
like
his two,
stage acting.
those were
probably.
his two big films that put him on the
Yeah.
put him on
Prince
the scene.
Edward
Way to
has
crush it.
that cage that opens from the side, so he doesn't have to take off his full helmet.
Yep.
That's
Right.
probably strategic,
right,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's hiding.
You
Yes.
knew me.
Right, he says it. He's like, "Look at you and I. We're the same."
Yeah,
Right, trying to hide our identities, but we can't.
yeah.
Yeah, I think to your point, Rem, William is he's all about honor, showing mercy, doing the right thing. He's betting on himself, on his friends. Like, he just wants to make it. Yeah, it was somebody really, really easy to root for. Roland also made me think many times, like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, because not only
He's the
do you
guy
need-
you want to win.
yeah, not only do you want like the dreamer, but the dreamer's got to have someone to buy into them.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's that guy. To your point in the
Second
beginning
fiddle.
scene. Yeah, you have, and I want to be comfortable being second fiddle when it's my role. Like
Yeah.
when it's my job to root somebody else on, and like, and that's not always
That's
easy.
a hard thing to learn to do.
It is, because you don't get the girl.
One
You
thing
don't,
I
like,
think our friend group does a really good job of is cheering for your friend's success. And I've seen other people who, like, you know, they'll say great job, and you can tell they're just jealous. They're jealous of their friend's success, and like I think our friend group does a really good job of really rooting for everybody.
I think we've gotten better, and I think a lot of it, Rem, is to be completely honest. You, as one of the more successful people of our group, I think you root people on more than anybody else.
It's just so important. It's so important to cheer on your friends, and like it does come full. Like it comes full circle.
Yeah.
Like, and you want to treat. I mean, it's the golden rule, right? But like, it's so much more fun to experience success when you're cheering other people on, and they're coming alongside you, and you're learning from each other.
Yeah.
Like that's my only I was just telling someone, like, my only superpower is crowdsourcing wisdom every time I don't know something. Like, I just will ask all the people
You are
who
not
were
afraid.
good at it ahead of time. And man, it is funny though.
I do have a good Roland question.
Hold on, before you go to rolling
Yeah.
question. So it is funny you're talking about the montage of like seeing. I think was it your intro talking about how all of a sudden he's just good at jousting.
Yes.
So that montage is really short.
But it's also hilarious.
Yeah,
Where he's
it
like,
is funny.
Were they in
"Come,
the
little
woods?"
ponies, come.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and so he buys like 10 sticks, breaks them all. He's like, all right, I'm never gonna fall off a horse again.
So here's my Roland question. All right, how in the world did Roland sew that awesome jacket so quickly?
Yeah.
He is like a master.
It's a beautiful-
at making clothes. It's like, why don't you guys have better clothes?
Yeah.
movie magic, man.
Movie magic.
Movie magic.
That is movie magic.
Another thing that made the woman blacksmith. Do we ever know her name? Did they ever
Kate.
say it?
Kate.
So do you remember the way they get her to make it is because they say something along the lines of leading her to believe it was because she was a
She
woman.
wasn't good
Yeah.
with armor.
And
They-
then
everybody else said she wasn't.
And
good
everybody
enough.
said they weren't good. Did they say it was because of a woman? I don't know. They just said that.
No, they didn't say we're a
Yeah,
woman.
but then she plays him right back, where she goes. She's talking about testing it. He's like, "Well, do you even have the courage to test it?"
I mean,
Yeah.
that's quite
And-
a ways later, but
Is it? Well, I mean, I loved her character introducing that. I thought of it because of the jacket you talked about.
Yeah.
Just the very small parts she played were so significant and important
yeah.
to the
yeah,
storyline.
the
I
cast
thought were
really
awesome.
works.
She was great,
And
even in
she's-
the scene where they're like talking to the Frenchman and making the bets, and she's bringing.
Oh, she's in-
the,
she's
the
in with
fiery spirit with
Yeah.
them, and
Yeah.
singing the pub song.
Jesus is English.
He's
Yeah,
blonde.
yeah. He makes me lots of money, Liechtenstein.
Okay, we talk about Jocelyn.
What
So
about
we've
it?
talked about everybody else. Like, why the heck is she just rolling around, the countryside all over the place,
Just touring
just
with
by
them.
herself? There's only one thing I can think of:
What?
to find a man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing. I
Well,
can
she's got
think of.
everything in life,
dude.
Everything.
She's just
Yeah.
just rolling around, just
We can-
watching all these
But
tournaments.
I think at that time,
letting all these knights
she's a-
come up
she's
to her
a-
and say, "I'm gonna win the tournament for you."
She
she's
does.
she's a queen, a princess at the time.
I mean, she's
she's a-
nobility.
Yeah, she's
Got it.
like a duchess.
I think
or
that's
something.
just. Maybe I'm. You guys can tell me history, guys. That's just kind of what you did as a rich woman in that time. Probably was you find a man
have
and you
no-
make your
I have no
family
idea.
more
It was
successful,
interesting.
right?
Cal Adamar said, "I've made arrangements with her
I've
father,
started
assuming her
negotiations with her
father,
father, yeah.
was around there
Yeah.
too. The father character never comes up in the movie, but apparently
So maybe
he
it's
was
on my mind.
he was, one of the nobility that's going to these matches.
She was
and-
also a rebel in a lot of ways.
It's not just so when they host the jousting, when the games, it's not just the games that people are going for. It's like a world fair. It's like a city fair.
Well,
that's going
afterwards
on.
there was a ball and a dance.
Yeah, so they
and-
have-
it was a social thing.
It's a
Yeah.
trading post too, so like
Yep.
everyone's bringing in
Yeah.
like all the trades are coming into that city for that week, and then
Yep.
they go to the next one. It's literally like a circus, basically,
Yeah.
for nobility and for knights.
She's got to go spend daddy's money.
Yeah. Well, I just watched Hamilton, and the
the
oldest
same kind of
Schuyler
thing.
sister is
Yeah.
like, my job is to marry rich. It's probably
It definitely
very much
reminds
so
you
like
of the Schuyler sisters a
Love
little bit, but
Hamilton.
she's just like rolling around all over the place.
Fun fact: Kelsey will not let me watch any of the scene where they sing "Helpless" because she thinks
I fast forward it. It makes me uncomfortable.
I
hate it.
don't.
I can't help it.
You don't
What?
like
I
it? The
can't help
whiny
it.
voices?
It's not about the. Oh, wait.
No,
oh
you're-
hell! I'm.
Are you
I'm
guys talking
thinking
about
of-
two different
I
things?
am. We
Yeah,
are.
we're
We
talking
are. Helpless is great.
I love that song.
I love Helpless.
I
Brett
think
gets
that
everything
Philippa
confused in
Sue.
music.
No,
in-
I-
Philippa Sue's voice is great.
I was talking about when he.
yeah,
the,
I like Helpless.
the scene with the he becomes what's
An adulteress.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's I just like I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out
It's
of here.
not about that. I'm talking
well,
about
he's an
Helpless.
adulterer,
Yes,
but yeah.
Yeah, Helpless. She hates the song. She fast forwarded. Anytime Philippa Sue sings, she's
Anytime
like,
she sings.
and that's his wife.
Yeah.
Anytime she sings,
Yeah.
because she's,
I like it.
Is she
She
nasally
just
or
thinks
something?
it's why. Yeah, it starts with that song, and then she's like, it just triggers her. She can't handle it.
We'll see if this.
I
triggers
love
her.
it.
Does Kelsey listen?
Oh
First of
my
all, you're not going to
gosh.
sing like.
Don't.
Yes.
You'd have
Down
to,
for
it
the
would have to
count and
remind her. It would have to remind her of the song. to
Never mind.
trigger her.
She might have liked it better. It was good.
Okay,
she
choir
might have liked it better. Who's wrong? Jocelyn for asking him to lose,
Yes.
or William for refusing to?
100%. This is a question that needs to
Who's
be
wrong?
asked.
All right, I have thought about this for years.
So
I'm talking.
Jocelyn
I'm serious.
asked.
By the way, I would have been done with Jocelyn.
Yes, you would have. Jocelyn asked Will to lose his joust to prove he loves her more than.
So
when-
here's where I'm at on it. She doesn't know he's poor and needs this to live. She doesn't know that he's on a journey to
He's
do
a little
any of
beyond
these things.
that
Now at this
at
point
this.
he's made a little bit of money and he's the con
Well,
is on.
time out. I'll let you finish. But Edward was, or no, who was on to him early? Adamar was on to him early. Clearly.
He doesn't
Jocelyn-
know that.
Adamar
He doesn't
just-
know that. He doesn't know that.
Adamar
Okay.
just thinks he's a poor
Okay,
country now.
but Jocelyn, does she save him by creating the dance before this moment, or
That's
after?
because he doesn't know how to dance, not because he's
Are
poor
you
or anything
sure?
like that. Yeah, for sure.
She
He's
literally makes up the dance of his country with him.
yeah.
His
but,
country.
but that doesn't mean she knows that he's a
She
fake.
didn't. There was
You don't
no-
think she was on to him?
By the end
None
of the movie,
them,
she knows
none of
he's
them
fake.
knew the dance.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But how would
She definitely takes pity on him and knows he's a little bit more poor
She
because
knows,
of what
she
Adamar
knows
says.
that there's something about him
that's off?
that is
Okay.
he's not saying.
But
Right.
you guys would say she does not know.
I don't think she knows all
Okay.
the way that he's
Sorry.
on a night until the end.
Okay, now go ahead. So is Jocelyn asking him to lose him?
I know
like-
what Brett would do, by the way. Brett would lose.
Oh,
Brett
100%.
Brett would 100% lose.
Yes.
I would say if you're asking me to lose, you don't love me. That's what I would say.
How old do you think William is right now in this
But
moment?
I've known Brett
How
long
old is he?
enough.
25?
20. Oh, I was a little more mature by 25. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
He might be
Yeah.
younger. I don't know.
I mean, listen.
Okay, so we know where you stand. This is what I think. I think it can go either way. It really just depends. Like, she's frustrated because up until this point, he just keeps lying to her. He writes her this letter basically saying, I wrote this letter. But in one of, I believe, one of the coolest scenes,
That is a cool
the
scene.
entire crew
When
is
they
writing
write
this
the
letter.
letter.
So this is what I wrote. I paused the movie and I wrote this down. She wants his poetry, but the letter was a group effort. But to be honest, that's more endearing for his crew. We don't put enough stock on the friends of the loved ones that we love.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really good.
And I really feel like to love William is to love that whole group and to want to be a part of that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
sometimes, like, I feel like people marry or just date or get to know somebody, and then you just separate the friend groups.
Yep.
And that's a really tough period of time. Like, people wonder why, like, the first year of marriage is really tough for most people, for a lot of people. Part of it is because they haven't really introduced them to the friend group and become immersed in that friend group. And so I think in that moment, he just keeps lying to her. I'm good at poetry. Well, no, you're not. You just, that one of the best lines in the movie, he goes, your breasts.
Your breasts.
They're below your throat. And it's so funny. And it's just like, that's all he could come up with. So here she is, like,
flanks.
yeah, horse's flanks. Every time she gives him a chance, he doesn't rise to the occasion. And she's like, you know what? I'm tired of you being like everybody else. If you really love me, do something different. So I've come full circle being the 35-year-old man that I am. But here's the part.
What a baby. He's
Here's
35.
the part that I think.
Yeah,
Here's
no kidding.
here. You want to talk
You're
about
only
movie?
35?
You want to talk about movie
Jeez.
magic?
No way
Tell
should
us.
you get a vasectomy.
Listen to this. So he starts losing. Let me ask you guys a question. Up until this point, didn't you kind of feel like every tournament was single or double elimination?
No,
You didn't get that feeling?
I didn't.
Okay. How many times do you think you can lose and still win the tournament? Because he gets hit 13 times with the lance. And
Well-
this is what just drives me crazy.
Well, 13 times, but
No,
that would
13
only
times
be-
in a row during the montage.
Yeah, but-
which
but
3
it's not
points in a
necessarily
row.
13. Yeah,
That's
okay.
at least 5 matches that he loses.
Yeah.
And then she says, why don't you go on and win the tournament in a round? After losing 5 times in one single tournament?
Yeah.
That's not possible. That's
You-
movie
you-
magic.
no, time out.
By the way, when Watt is stretching him out,
Yeah.
and
Trying to get his shoulder back in
Get his
place.
he
shoulder
says,
back in place.
I can't
That was a
remember-
very
I
Brett
can't
moment,
remember
by the way.
I can't remember exactly. I can't remember exactly what he's talking about with Jocelyn, but Watt is just so pissed at him for losing all their money. He's
taking advantage
and,
of it.
And then he says, oh, well, then may I burn in hell, you know? And it is a blasphemous statement. And
Right.
Watt just
William.
goes, William, that's blasphemous.
So 2 things. One,
Good.
it's kind of like Remember the Titans. You lost 5 times and still won. 3. You're right. 5 sounds better. Number 1, movie magic. Number 2, here's my take, and I think you guys are completely wrong. I think Jocelyn does save him at the dance. She does know that he's lying, and she's totally into it because it's different than any other person, any
be.
other
'Cause she's a
potential.
rebel?
She's a rebel. She doesn't want to buy into it. And here's the thing.
She's tired of all the
That's
other
why
nights.
she tells him to lose, because she's like, you're becoming just like my father, just like all these other
You're
guys
becoming
that are
like
trying
all
to
these
win
other
me.
nights. Yeah.
She's into.
Well, he's
She's
definitely different than the other nights.
she knows.
I can buy that.
think she knows.
She knows he's
and she-
different. I don't know that
you know
she
what?
knows
We
that
need
he's-
to get a hold of this.
No.
We-
I can totally buy that you're becoming just like the other. Even if it doesn't have anything to do with her knowing that he's not a knight or basically a poor knight. He was different and he wasn't like the other ones. And I can totally buy.
I
you're
want to ask
becoming
this
like them.
acclaimed director we've never heard of what is actually
We
going
gotta
on.
find out.
By the
what
way,
else
we've
he's
only
doing.
never heard of him because we
haven't
don't
seen
study
any other
film.
movies. Hold on, I'll answer right
If
now.
this
So-
podcast ever makes it to him, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
he actually, he directed
like this
42. He
Oh,
directed
the Jackie Robinson
Jackie
movie?
Robinson.
Oh, I like that.
I've seen your work.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with your game.
He directed Legend, which is Tom Hardy.
It's on my
playing
list.
The twins.
Oh, the
It's
Tom
on my
Hardy
list.
one where he's the
Yeah.
twins. That's a great
Payback,
performance.
and then nothing else. So
well, no.
he's
Here's the deal. He's made at least 3 movies that are amazing that I've made 0.
he's only
so.
directed, like, I kid you not, 6 movies.
oh,
Yeah, so he's like
so he's
Tarantino.
due
He's
for
the
another
Tarantino
one.
of his
Due
time.
for another one, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. My
I don't
bad.
know if we should
Sorry.
compare him to Tarantino.
I feel
but-
bad now.
He's a writer, though. He writes a lot of movies.
Ah,
Nice. Let's end with and anything else you guys have, but let's end with William's dad. I had many moments that I had to think William's dad.
by the way, that's a cry moment.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Marcus.
which
Cry.
one? When he realizes it's
Has
him?
he followed
So
his feet?
twice, right? But when he says, and has he followed his feet?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yep.
got me.
Yeah,
got
I
me.
cried during that part for
Yep.
sure. And then again when his dad shows up with Jocelyn,
Your dad's here.
and
Right?
and,
Your
and
dad
then-
heard that.
and then again Paul Bettany. This is why he's a little bit of the guide figure too, by the way, is because he's helping him along the way,
Yeah.
and he says, Sir William, your dad heard that,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
That's you, like you're a knight. Go win this thing. I'm paraphrasing, but
Yeah.
in those two moments, I mean, that's
When he
really
goes back
big.
for the first time and he finds out his
'Cause
dad
his
is
dad gives his
dad is
son up.
blind.
Yep.
to help
right.
him.
And so he goes up to him and he's describing his he's been gone for 12 years.
Yeah,
And so there's no way his dad can hear the man voice because when he left he was just a boy.
he was a boy.
Right? So when
Little
his
pipsqueak.
dad finally figures out, oh, this is my son, like that just gives me chills.
Yeah,
It gives me goosebumps just thinking about that.
His dad getting to realize his son succeeding, growing, learning, like it reminds you so much.
Well, what
We've all
his
had those
son
moments.
did is impossible. Like
Yeah.
changing the stars is impossible.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point, right? Like go
It's
chase your dreams, change the stars, change your
earthly
stars.
success, watching your kids grow and learn, like kind of unmatched. Like I taught Rose how to ride a bike this weekend and I could have cried. Like, and that's a very, like, it's a huge deal. Like you're like, wow, it was so cool to watch that. I feel like Edward's speech, maybe like a moment on that, like anything there for me with Edward's speech to William, just his honor and mercy, and he was at, like, I think they called it knightness.
Yeah.
It got him released. Like, dude, it was just so, like, all the right things he did before he ever had the chance for Prince Edward to be able to help him in any way. It came back around.
Well,
like,
and that's where the kindness part comes back. I couldn't
Yeah.
come up with it earlier, right? But he says, "Let me repay the kindness
Yes.
that you once showed me," right? Which Adamar says that mercy
is a weakness.
yes.
is weakness, right?
In what world do you think
Edward,
you
the
could
Black
beat me?
Prince, right? He doesn't see it that way,
Yep.
and he says, and so he's showing mercy, like William's gonna die,
Yeah.
right? He is showing mercy by knighting him and saying, my personal, it was a very powerful moment when he says, my personal historians have found that he's descended of an ancient royal line.
Yeah.
That's my word, and it's beyond contestation.
Yeah.
I was like, that's freaking
Yeah. Imagine being able to say that. Like, okay.
You're just a prince, bro. Wow.
Prince Edward, kind of unsung hero. Like not a lot of parts, but some really, really powerful stuff.
That
for
scene
sure.
where he's in the prison cell and Adamar punches him.
Oh, yeah.
I always get that confused with the scene.
Not
in
Prince Edward, but
Adamar.
William. Yeah.
Adamar punches Will.
William. Yeah.
I get that scene confused with Gladiator.
Yeah, totally. It
Where he
reminds you
stabs him right
exactly
before
of
they go
Gladiator.
out and
Brett's
fight.
probably never seen Gladiator.
I have not seen Gladiator.
Oh my!
Are you not
God.
entertained? Do we get to say that?
You're being serious.
Well, there's a scene
Yeah.
like this in Gladiator, except
yeah.
So
it's the
there's
exact
words
same
that
scene.
he says. Adamar
okay, we
says
have
to him.
to do Gladiator.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we can't let. I can let you get away with not seeing Braveheart. I cannot let you
It's
get away
officially
with
been
not seeing
recommended.
Gladiator.
I'm down, dude. Russell Crowe's great. He had a really, really great stretch there.
You can't
which
even say
I
that
can't
if
even
you
say
haven't
that.
seen Gladiator. Have you seen A Beautiful Mind?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Amazing. Great. We got to do that one too.
Oh, well.
That movie freaks me out
What?
because I think that it's
because
me.
you think
like,
you have a beautiful mind.
I watched that movie alone. And
Paul
I
Bettany, by
paused-
the way.
I paused it.
Paul Bettany's phenomenal in that
And
movie
I-
too.
And I was thinking, I called Jim, my buddy Jim, and I said, Jim, you remember when we were at that restaurant, that guy was talking to us? Did you see him too? And he's like, yeah, dude, he was asking all these weird questions. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. And I hung up and I watched the rest of the movie because in The Beautiful Mind, he's making up all these people. And then I was like watching it alone. I was like, oh my gosh,
definitely had
I wonder if
moments-
I'm making up people.
Where I was like, if I was the weird one, I wouldn't know I was the weird one,
And would that be
everybody
okay?
would probably be playing along and not wanting me to feel bad. Like even right now, maybe you're playing along. you don't
You got
know.
a dunce cap on.
Anything else made you think, Marcus Rem?
I think it's good.
Dude, quote time.
Yes.
Best quotes.
I will
Rem, kick us
eviscerate
off.
you in fiction. Every pimple, every
Yes.
character flaw. I was naked for a day. You'll be naked for eternity.
Oh, so good.
We're gonna rapid fire these. Okay.
Go ahead.
Fine. Well, it was allegorical. Well, we won't hold that against you. That's for each man to decide for himself.
What was allegorical?
Brett, what does allegorical mean?
Like algorithms. It's got some formula to it. It's you can explain it. It's allegorical.
Better a silly girl with a flower than a silly boy with a horse and a stick.
It's called a lance. Hello.
What?
Will responding to Adamar says, she is the target, isn't she? Will, no, she is the arrow.
By the way, I couldn't figure out what that means. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, dude.
So
I'm glad someone else said it.
So he's saying she is not what I'm gunning for. She's the most powerful part. Like she's the most,
you're saying
she's the most important part of this algorithm.
but see, it was allegorical. No, it to me it feels like you're using her even more if she's an arrow.
Yeah,
like she's not the target. She's the arrow. She's what I use to get what I want. That's what it sounds like.
I think you value the arrow. You don't value the target.
I feel like it was just, hey, this sounds cool, say that, and they didn't really.
Well,
think
you
it through.
killed the target.
Hey.
So I understand if she's not the target.
Right.
I understand.
But the
that.
arrow doesn't make sense either.
I just don't get her being the arrow. I really
so if
just
you're
don't
listening to this
understand that.
podcast, write. What's our email address? Give
The
us
cover
the answer.
pod.
The coverpod at gmail.com.
gmail.com.
But I
wanna
just
know,
told you guys what it meant.
We really want to know what that means, guys. Brett's over here doing algorithms.
Ooh, I got another fun fact for you since we're doing quotes. So the quote where he wins the sword competition for the first time, and Paul Bettany goes off on another one of his, he's the best, and he just screams. Yeah. And then he pauses.
Wait, hold on. He's in the garden of his turbulence.
And
then
everybody
just
pauses,
stops.
and nobody says anything. It was
And then
because
Roland goes,
and Roland goes, yeah,
saves it.
So that was actually an outtake. So nobody there spoke English. And
they were all Czech.
And so he goes off on this thing, and they were told, hey, cheer when everyone else cheers. But he pauses, and no one cheers, so they're all just waiting for the part where they're supposed to cheer. So Roland, and the film is on him, the camera's on him, he goes, yeah! And then everyone, that's one of the most memorable parts, and it was a mistake.
Awesome. That's so great. That's what, because I did think in that moment, like, is he bombing this? Why is this bombing? But to our point earlier, Roland's bought in, dude. He's that big brother. He's gonna save us.
How about this? You give us a good one. You remind me of the Bible. And then she's like, what?
This is a good line, though.
He's like, when God stopped the sun to give Joshua more time to beat the Amorites. I thought that's an incredible line.
There was a lot of scripture in here, actually.
Hold on, you got to finish it. She goes, I still don't understand.
Yeah, the
best part. The best part of the line is afterwards.
She says, "Well, I didn't write that down," but she says, "I still don't." She says, "I still don't understand." And then he says, "If I could ask God for one thing, it would be
to stop the
moon, so that
this night and your beauty
could last forever."
Could last forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Another question, by the way, I didn't write this down, but Colby was watching it with me, and Colby was just enamored with Jocelyn's hair, and she kept saying, she's just like, how does she get all these colors in her hair in this time period? And I was like, movie magic, babe.
Movie magic.
Mm-hmm. Colby's my daughter.
Dip it in tomatoes.
Well, they still probably could have done like a braid or
How would you beat him? With a stick while he slept?
Yep, that's a good one.
Oh, probably true. I just wrote down probably true because there's a knight. He's like, who's this
He's
knight?
raised taxes 3 times on his people
to pay for tournament. His people starve while he sits at banquet.
It's probably true.
And they look at each other like, probably true.
Dude, it's kind of like, you know how you've heard stories of Michael Jordan creating games in his head of like what other players are doing, thinking. It's kind of like they're totally MJing him for him.
Yeah.
But he's like buying into it.
I equated it more to like things that I would tell like sales reps, that like they would come to me. I wouldn't downright lie to them like this, but like they would come to you expecting you to say one thing, and you give them something completely different, and they're like,
Perfect example. My rep, Jackson Edwards,
giving him a
who,
call
by the way,
out.
loves the show. Jackson has not had a no sale for his first year in the business, and he is a Wabash, going to be a sophomore. Marcus is a Wabash alum. By the way, did you know Galactic dealt 40 under 40?
He's done something that Matthew McConaughey's never done.
I don't know if you knew that. And
Marcus told me, so I knew that.
How do you know Marcus did something?
Self-promotion.
Marcus will tell you.
All about that self-promotion, baby.
So Jackson goes up to Marcus.
You know the bumper stickers that say 13.1? Marcus just has a bumper sticker that says Marcus Mangus.
That's a great idea. Wow.
So this
I'm gonna
Marcus
do that.
wraps up my division meeting, and Jackson goes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Jackson. So awesome to meet you. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I've worked here for a year. Never had a no sale." And Marcus looks at him and goes, "Oh, so you just don't work very hard?" By the way, the kid blew up this summer. Had his
great.
first no sale. Yeah,
Great.
pretty
It
good.
is true though.
Dude, it's true. If you don't have a no sale, you're not working very hard.
I have a quote to end on. Any other quotes you guys want to share?
Yeah, they're screaming in the cathedral, and she says something, and he says something, and the priest comes over and says, "Shh, woman," and she goes, "Do not shh me and spare him. Now go." I love that.
Yeah, that is really, really good. She shows them
She does. They do.
what's boss.
They do shush.
How about when he's really frustrated because he won the tournament, but Adamar had withdrawn, right? And she's really excited for him, and all she wants to do is go to this banquet,
Yeah.
right? And she asks him what the color is going to be, and what will you wear? What will you wear to the banquet? And he says nothing, and then she says, we shall cause a sensation for our dress to match.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Is that all you think about is clothes?"
Yeah.
And then Paul Bettany's character Chaucer, he goes, "I believe she's talking about taking them off, my lord." I love that part.
The whole scene's good. Here's a little bit more serious one, and a thinker. Are you mad you knowingly endanger a member of the royal family? And William goes, he knowingly endangers himself.
Yeah.
Loved it. The best perspective.
Yep.
The best perspective.
Yeah.
Marcus?
And they show in those moments in some of those quotes why they're so parallel. Like they're kindred spirits, those two.
Yeah.
William and
Yeah.
Prince Edward.
Just started in two totally different spots.
Well,
but
yeah,
definitely.
I mean, Edward says that as much,
Just
right?
basically says that, yeah.
we're the same, you and I.
What do you think this means? Because this is a pretty pivotal part of the movie. Little William says, "Father, I'm afraid I won't know the way back home." John Thatcher says, "Don't be foolish, William. Just follow your feet."
Yeah.
Does that just mean he just knows? He'll know? Like just walk?
Yeah,
you'll
trust your
figure
gut.
it out.
Trust your gut.
Follow your feet.
I mean, if you want to, if it
Well,
was,
it's kind of like salmon. They return to the place that they're born. How do they know? I don't know.
Salmon?
Yeah.
well, I know
I just found out
penguins
something
do.
about salmon.
Please,
So you know how
I
they
eat so much salmon.
They swim upstream. You know
Uh-huh.
the whole swim upstream thing. So apparently they mate,
Yeah.
and then they drop the babies off, and they don't actually swim upstream until like it's the end of their life. It's like the last thing they do
oh, really?
After they drop the baby.
after they drop off the babies, and they're like, "Hey, let's just swim upstream now." So if you see salmon swimming upstream,
No, they swim upstream to lay the eggs.
okay, maybe I misheard the story.
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost.
But I do know that if they're swimming upstream, they're about to die. That's
yes,
what I
they
know.
are about to die.
Yeah.
But
Wait, is this like after they
After they do the baby thing,
They know that it's
drop
like
off
a
the babies,
mantis
and they're
thing?
like,
Don't
and they're
they
like, "Hey,
fish?
let's go
They're
on one
fish.
last
It's
ride."
a little different.
And then they go up.
they only do babies one time, ever?
I think so.
I don't.
So you
It's more.
Yeah.
It's more than once.
I mean, I don't know. For
I
sure.
mean,
know
how
they
would
can't- I
salmon
don't
not
know.
be
I
extinct?
don't think that. Well, they do lay a lot of eggs.
A ton of eggs. Have you seen Nemo?
Yes.
Yeah. But no, I don't think your story is exactly right.
There's
we'll have
no
to
way.
look this up for the next pod.
Don't praying mantises bite off each other's heads after they mate?
The woman eats the man. Yeah.
Every time.
I don't know if it's
That's
every
what humans
time.
do too.
I don't know. I don't know if it's every time. I just know that if the woman gets the chance, she'll eat the man.
Quote.
I think it's to. I think it's to protect her young from the man.
Oh, because he'll eat them.
I think so.
You think so? Like
I might be
haven't-
making
I haven't
things
read
up.
about it, but I, just
I
think
might
that's
be
what he says.
making things up. I don't know. I read about it once in a book.
Hey, do you guys listen to the Cover podcast? They cover
Dodgeball.
all sorts of things. Salmon, praying mantis.
They have no idea what they're talking about. If you want to tell us how salmon die, email thecoverpod@gmail.com.
We could just rename this episode "How Salmon Die."
There's
I
got
think
to
we'd get a
be
lot of
something
listens.
voiced by Morgan Freeman that will tell us how salmon die.
Dude, have you ever watched those
AI?
Earth videos on like Discovery and stuff?
Well, I didn't have TV channels, so while you were watching like Ren and Stimpy and stuff, I used to watch Nature on PBS.
Well,
so that's probably how I know
I'm
all
talking
this
like
stuff.
a month ago with the girls on Netflix.
Yeah.
It is
Awesome.
intense. It's awesome for someone that's not 5 years old. It is like gory, crazy,
Yeah.
like real.
Yeah.
Fantastic. She
I
was
got
eating
another quote.
Cheerios.
This is hilarious.
Yes.
William says, "I can't explain it. She makes me feel like a poet." Roland goes, "Well, you may feel like a poet, but you sound like an idiot."
That is a really good quote. That's a great quote. And by the way, they're like laying down back to back.
Yeah.
And Watt's feet are right there.
And then he wakes
I
up.
had this as a hidden gem, so let's just jump right into
hidden
it.
gems, yeah.
Because Watt, while they're talking right there, Watt sits straight up in the air and just goes, "Patty cakes," or whatever he says.
He's holding a knife.
And then he just falls back down.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't help but think about Mexico.
Oh, do we gotta tell this story?
No, we don't have time.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll have to you have to
Hold on,
email
let's
us
tell
at the cover pod.
Wait, is this another Chris?
Let's hold on,
conversation?
hold on.
No.
No, we got time. We got time. I'll tell a shortened version of it. So Marcus and I are roommates in Mexico, and we go to bed We're young men. We go to bed at a responsible time every night.
Every night.
The two ladies that were in the room next to us did not. They would get in very late and be very loud, and
adjoining doors.
And it
by
was
the way.
adjoining doors. And in one particular night, they decided to start nailing the adjoining doors and go, "Ah!" Just start screaming, just to be loud and obnoxious. And Marcus, like a vampire, arises. And he doesn't even remember the story because he didn't remember it happened. I saw this. I witnessed this happen. Sits up straight in the air and just screams, "No!" And silence on the other end for the rest of the night. And then he
dad
goes back
voiced him.
down and goes to sleep. Doesn't remember it at all. I
dad
said, "Dude,
voiced
how
him."
about that vampire situation last night?" He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I don't remember at all. But I remember because I've heard this story so many
So
times.
good.
But when Watt did that, I was like, there's no way we can't talk about that.
That is good. That's a good hidden gem.
It's another ability of the movie to be so ridiculously funny and still maintain an awesome plot line that's serious and
Right.
like it's so freaking good.
I think a hidden gem, by the way, that I wrote down that I just this is a character that doesn't get much play or screen time, but the herald for Count Adamar is hilarious.
Yeah,
Right,
he's
then-
funny.
Like,
he
there's
he
one
wants
point-
to be Paul Bettany.
By the way, there's one point where he's just standing there when Adamar and Jocelyn are having that first conversation. He's standing there with a freaking hawk, like sitting on his hand.
Yeah.
You know, he's just chilling.
Yeah.
Right there in the middle of all these people. Yeah, I'm just gonna stand here with a hawk.
Yeah.
Right. And then you've got the moment where they're like doing the mirror on his face, and he's trying to say it, and at the end he's clapping for William. I thought that that's a character that I think we could call a hidden gem. I thought he did a good job.
Hidden gem for me. Have you guys seen the real life Aladdin? Is that what you call the Disney movies they remake in real
Yeah.
life? Like,
Yep.
so the real life
Live
Aladdin,
action.
the relationship between Roland and Jocelyn's aide
Yeah.
gives me Aladdin vibes of Jasmine's aide and Genie. Let's go.
I don't think I've.
No, you haven't seen it.
I've
Oh, man.
seen it, but
So
I
good.
don't.
Another hidden gem.
I'm more like a classic Aladdin guy.
Watt telling William how the conversation with Jocelyn went, and then he's like, one more thing, and he kisses William.
Yeah.
And then William like pulls away, and he's like, "Yes!"
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Everybody's like, yeah, we get it. We understand.
good.
You know, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
How about the guy that's preaching just outside of London when they're going in?
Doing a-
Cockadoodle once, I shall not deny him. Cockadoodle twice, I shall not deny him. Cockadoodle thrice, I denied him. Thrice, I denied the Lord.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
love him. I literally say it every time, like with him. It's great.
Do you ever use that like just out?
Yeah, sometimes I'll just go like downtown Indy before a Pacers game, and
Yeah.
I'll just bust that
Cockadoodle
out.
what?
Yeah,
That was speaking
I've
of.
never done that before,
since
but
we
that
brought
sounds
up-
like a punishment.
Since we
That
brought up
sounds
the
like-
league, since we brought up the league, so like our league punishment has evolved over the time. But one of my favorites is you have to go to a crowded area and play an instrument that you do not know how to play and beg for money. That was one of the best ones all
By
time.
the way, big miss us having somebody do it in Carmel one year because of course Carmel cops have nothing else better to do.
no, it was Hamilton.
It was Hamilton Town Center.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, Fishers,
Same
yeah,
thing.
sorry, I should have went a little bit further north.
Yeah, downtown literally would have been the move.
It would have been the move, but there were like two of us.
Xylophone? Was he playing a xylophone?
No, it was a recorder. Wasn't it a recorder?
We had a xylophone.
Oh,
for him,
nice.
and he was just like banging it. They're like, "Do you have a permit?" We're like, "No, we don't have a permit." This is a
You should have said
punishment.
yes.
This is a punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a permit.
Permit. We're good.
Yeah, I've got it right here.
Was it right there by Five Guys and the Pete's Place?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Paul Bettany developed laryngitis because of all the yelling he did for his role.
Yeah.
And again, we've said it reminds us of Brett, and I just want to know, have you ever lost your voice from screaming so much?
The first week of every summer, when I start running a lot of training, I will lose my voice. Well, I won't lose it, but I'll be like,
not after like a push countdown or something.
no, man, that's light work. We're good.
I can't scream. Like I can't keep my voice. I can't scream
Dude,
for long periods
like
of time.
we did Grohl, earlier, but like I think about the way that
He
they
sings
sing
with his
and
voice.
stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
how do they do
You,
that?
I mean,
night after
it's a
night?
muscle,
You have
right?
to
It's got to
train
be a
it.
muscle.
I mean,
yeah.
my goodness, incredible
Yeah, nuts.
skills.
More hidden gems, and I do feel like once we get down to hidden gems, we're sharing a lot of these in quotes in moments that made us think.
Yeah, that's true.
So any more
I'm just
hidden
kind of
gems?
looking for little things.
So
Yeah,
the opening
worth-
jousting scene was actually it's footage of an accident involving Heath Ledger's stunt double.
Huh.
And
Oh,
they
wow.
left it in the movie. It's the actual introduction. The stunt double was hit in the head and fell to the ground unconscious. And it's like as they're writing in.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
Does he finish the movie? Like, does he?
Yeah. So because in another thing that I read, the directors, I believe the director's two front teeth got knocked out in an accident.
Holy
Whoa.
cow!
That Heath Ledger, this is before they even started filming, they were showing how to do something and accidentally like hit him with a broom or something. He knocked his teeth out because he jokingly said that was the only injury from jousting for the entire movie. But he must have forgot that this guy was knocked out and unconscious. But yeah, apparently there wasn't any injury, which makes me wonder, like, how did they? I mean, it looks very real. Like it's not. They're stunt doubles that do a great job.
Amazing job. Have you guys seen?
It's not a hidden gem, but like at the end of the movie, the kiss is a little over the top, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
Yeah, because he's completely healed from the shoulder injury. that
yeah, he magically heals from that
part
shoulder.
of me. So you're
Jumps
like,
over the
He couldn't even hold the lance. First of all,
strap
right?
it to me on.
strap it to my arm.
he couldn't hold it. Then he goes out there,
no, lash it.
no armor, none.
No, listen.
Like would have died.
we have all experienced though the adrenaline that happens from winning something.
That's true.
like
that is
you
not what I thought you were gonna say.
with jousting.
I thought you were gonna say we've all
testosterone
experienced
boost.
being about to go to sleep, and there are many things that I cannot stay up for. That is one. But anyway,
Passionate
yes,
kissing.
winning.
Seriously, like
Winning
Passionate
things.
kissing.
Hashtag 5
Winning.
kids.
Hashtag.
yeah, but like I mean, when you're finishing like a sport, if you win, you get over.
I was trying not to laugh because I didn't want to make him laugh.
Okay. The points were
But
so-
yes, you win, and you're so excited. There's a dog pile. You're jumping through the air. Yeah. Yeah.
We've all experienced it. We've
So
all
I don't think the kiss is fake over the top. I think it's just a young Heath Ledger, a young whoever the actress Jocelyn is, and they're like, you know what?
We're going for this.
Go for it.
I don't think it's over the top.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely
like
one of the most passionate kisses in
It
that I've
reminds me
ever
of
seen in a movie.
reminds me of Princess Bride, where he talks about the most important kisses. That's another movie we absolutely should do, by the way. Is Princess Bride.
Well, like when he says like never in the history of kisses has there been a kiss as passionate as this one.
And
or
then you're
whatever.
like, then you watch a nice.
And you watch a Night's Tale and you're like, yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree, Grandpa.
It was filmed after.
Yeah.
So, but
Oh
to
my
finish
gosh,
my
I'm crying.
thought, we've been injured. Like, let's say you roll an ankle.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, if you win the basketball game, it doesn't hurt as bad as if you lose.
Totally.
And you can
100%.
see it, by the way, with pro athletes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are so different if they win the game versus when they lose.
Or if they get hurt when they're losing or down by 20 points or something.
Yeah.
Very different than if they get hurt and the game is on the line.
100%.
I think in your head you're going, yeah.
Well, I'm that way too, though. Like if I got hurt today playing basketball, I got hit right there, or on my forearm, I guess I should say, since we're not in the video. But I got hit on my forearm. I felt like I couldn't feel my hand for like 3 different pickup games. But of course, I kept playing, right? But if I'm at home and I stub my toe, I'm down. Like, I'm toast.
I'm down for the count.
Jessica, I'm gonna have to go to bed at like 8:30 tonight.
Do you see this toe? Look at this toe. It looks like your other
red.
toe. Yeah, but it
It
hurts.
is red.
Can't see it.
Let's go into ratings. 1 to 9. 1 to 9. This is a tough one for me because I love the movie, but I know it's not an all-time where I should put, man, I love the movie. So to Rem's point, do you do it from like a critic standpoint or a fan standpoint? But it's a great movie. Anybody most excited to kick us off? Already know their
9
answer?
for me.
Oh, wow.
One of my faves.
A 9. Man, I'm going to go 7.
7.
But I feel bad for not going 8.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I'd go like a 7.3. Yeah, I mean, I really like this movie, but for me, it doesn't pass the like wow. Really makes me think. I'm thinking about this afterwards. What this is for me is the kind of movie that I can put on. I can have my kids watching it for the most part. There's one like love scene that I fast forward through. That's really short, right? But for the most part, like I can put this on. I can just enjoy it, right? I don't have to think,
right?
But I really like the movies that make me think. And I didn't feel like this really gets there,
Well,
but I also really liked it.
An interesting thing: the movies I would rank highest, I don't think I have ever rewatched unless it was to show somebody else. Where the movies I enjoy the most, but I wouldn't call the best, I can rewatch. Like this, I could rewatch 100 times.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do we got next?
Oh, I think we're doing a book. We got a book, right?
Alda or Alda?
Alda. Alan Alda. Never
Mr. Mash.
have your dog stuffed. I will say this. If you're listening and following along with us, highly recommend. You can just listen. You can.
Oh, it's like 4 hours.
You can go through this book pretty quick on audio, and he's great.
And it's still available on Spotify in this moment, free of charge.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I don't know much about him, so I'm excited, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away. Automatically one of my favorite.
Never have your
autobiographies.
dog stuffed. I
Never
mean,
dog
what
stuffed.
an Alan Alda title for a book. Pretty cool.
I don't. Why is it an Alan Alda?
No, because he's got that like flair, that vaudevillian.
Yeah, that's true.
Flair.
I guess you probably know the most about him than any of us before the autobiography.
It was interesting when he talked about
probably.
the Korea versus Vietnam thing because we talked about.
We'll get
that.
into it. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Alan Alda. More Than MASH. Ooh, that could have been another book.
More than MASH.
More Than MASH.
No,
Next time.
his other book is Things I've Overheard While Talking to Myself.
Is that really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, those are some good titles.
Interesting cat. Next time on The Cover.
Peace.